Thank you. Yes. Sri Rajeev Chandrashekar.
Thank you for
more
allowing
than
me
double
to speak on this important motion. Sir, as you are aware, sir, India is witnessing an unprecedented mobilization of mind and people
After I finish.
on the issue of governance and corruption, and more specifically about the Lokpal institution, which is being seen increasingly as a centerpiece of an architecture for a more transparent and accountable form of government.
Then he will call Naresh.
Sir, this movement that we are seeing outside Parliament today, and some have criticized it in and outside the House, comprises millions of Indians all over the country and is remarkable by its non-violent and apolitical nature. And most importantly, sir, is the most visible proof of people's participation and the vibrancy of our democracy since independence. Sir, I believe, and I say this, I speak for myself, as representatives of the people within Parliament, it is the beholden duty of all MPs to respond to this outpouring of views and concern voiced by our fellow citizens, but I accept the argument that we should do so in a responsible manner. So let us be clear. Corruption, which is the focus of our debate today, is a consequence of poor or absent governance. And as the Supreme Court itself has said, corruption is the worst form of human rights violations. Corruption affects the poor and the rich equally, and in most cases, the poor suffer the consequences of corruption even more than the rich. Poor governance combined by profligate spending and welfare scheme after welfare scheme, without even the faintest effort of linking spending to outcomes and objectives, has created today what we see, a thriving ecosystem of vested interests and corruption. Sir, the focus therefore needs to be on a holistic plan for governance reforms and changing the way our government functions for its people, to bring in more accountability and a culture of value and respect for public money and assets. Most of our institutions of government, and the Honourable Minister was referring to that, have long since been corroded through political interference and exploitation. These institutions need to be rebuilt, and rebuilt with credibility. Like the judiciary and the CAG have made the country proud, we need other institutions also to make the people of India confident and trust its government. In Weber's memorable words, building public institutions is like slow boring of boards and takes many, many years. Sir, the Lokpal that we are discussing is such an institution that the people look forward to get more confident about governance and government. I believe, sir, instead of having a debate of Lokpal versus Jan Lokpal, we should be discussing what are the requirements of the Lokpal institution to be effective and to give people confidence. Let me lay out what I believe are the 6 requirements of a credible Lokpal institution. The Lokpal should be independent. It should be independent from the government and should not be interfered by the government. Number 2, the Lokpal should have adequate investigative power. Number 3, sir, the Lokpal should have adequate financial resources and must not depend on the government for finances. Lokpal should be able to investigate in confidentiality so that people who are accused of crimes have the opportunity to prove their innocence before they are indicted. The Lokpal should be manned by professional, well-trained and proper investigators so that again there is no opportunity for misuse of the institution. And I will quickly end, sir. I have very few other points to make. Let me end by saying this, sir. If you apply these 6 criteria, and I say this with all the in my command, sir, the Jan Lokpal bill is closer to what the people would be more confident in. I do not subscribe to the Jan Lokpal bill completely, and I accept the argument being made by many wise members of this House that the Jan Lokpal bill is constitutionally incompatible in many ways. Sir, let us be very clear. A strong Lokpal institution and a strong law is the biggest deterrent to corruption, and the law's objective is a deterrent to corruption. And this is an unprecedented opportunity, sir. Let me end by saying this is an unprecedented opportunity for the Parliament to establish that it is hearing the voices and responding to the concerns of the people by having a debate on what a Lokpal bill and a Lokpal institution that gives them the confidence that corruption and governance shall be reformed. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Sri Rajeev Chandrashekar.
Now the Discussion on the growing incidence of corruption in the country has concluded. The House stands to adjourn to meet tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Thank you, sir.